Let's be real for a second. Social media has got us all hooked. Notifications are constant, scrolls are endless, and somehow we've all found ourselves wasting hours on platforms that leave us drained and more anxious than when we started. Sound familiar? Well, here's the thing. You don't have to accept this as the new normal. It's time for a change, a detox. But not the kind where you just delete apps and hope for the best. I'm talking about a pragmatic approach, one that doesn't just rely on willpower or empty advice, but a strategy that works for real life. If you're sick of the endless cycle of checking your phone, mindlessly scrolling, and feeling like you're losing yourself in the process, this video is for you. Stick around, because I'm about to show you exactly how to take control of your digital life without falling for the same old generic advice you've heard 1,000 times. This is a new way forward, one that brings clarity, focus, and freedom. Keep watching, and let's dive into the real, actionable steps to take back your peace. Trust me, this is going to change the way you think about social media. Number 1. The Delete and Replace Challenge. Ever feel like your phone is the boss of you? You pick it up for one thing, and suddenly you're down a rabbit hole of scrolling, liking, and watching random cat videos for hours. It's like a vortex you can't escape. But what if I told you there's a way to flip the script and take back control without having to quit social media completely? Sounds impossible, right? Well, trust me on this. The Delete and Replace Challenge is about to become your new best friend. Now, I know what you're thinking, but I need social media. It's how I keep up with friends, trends, and news. We've all been there. Social media is this double-edged sword. It can be fun, informative, and connecting, but it can also suck the life out of you if you let it. We've all had those days when we're stuck in an endless scroll, checking the same posts over and over. So, what's the answer? Do we just throw in the towel and go live in a cabin with no Wi-Fi? Actually, no. The Delete and Replace Challenge is here to save the day, and it's way more practical than you think. Here's how it works. Every week, delete a social media app from your phone. Yes, just delete it. Don't worry about the withdrawals or FOMO. I promise you'll survive. The key is to replace it with something that actually adds value to your life. That could be reading a book, learning a new hobby, or getting active outside. Think of it as hitting a reset button on your habits. Why? Because studies show that when we replace one habit with another, especially a positive one, our brains start rewiring themselves in healthier ways. And the beauty of this challenge is that it doesn't just give you back time, it gives you back your focus, your mental clarity, and your sense of control. I can tell you from experience, I used to be that person, glued to my phone every chance I got. One weekend, I tried deleting Instagram for 48 hours. No scrolling, no DMs, no cute dog videos. I replaced it with simple things, journaling, going for a walk, reading a chapter of a book. And let me tell you, by the end of that weekend, I felt free. My mind felt clear. And I realized that all those little moments I spent mindlessly scrolling could actually be better spent on myself. This challenge isn't just about cutting things out, it's about reclaiming your time, your peace, and your attention. It's about telling the world, hey, I'm in charge of my own space, not you. It's empowering, and it's not about being perfect. There will be days when you slip, and that's okay. The goal isn't to erase your social media life, it's to make it intentional, purposeful, and healthier. So, next time you feel that urge to check your phone, remember this: your space, your peace, and your dignity are worth more than another mindless scroll. You've got the power to choose how you spend your time. Take the challenge. Delete, replace, and watch your life transform. Number 2, the unfollow everyone movement. Imagine this. You open your social media app and your feed is flooded with opinions, trends, and updates from people you barely even know. You're scrolling, and yet somehow you feel more disconnected than ever. Sounds familiar, right? Now, what if I told you the solution wasn't to spend even more time trying to curate the perfect feed, but instead to hit unfollow on every single account? Yes, you heard that right. Unfollow everyone. Trust me, I know it sounds extreme, but hear me out. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Wait, aren't I going to miss out on important updates? I'll lose touch with my friends, my favorite influencers, and the latest news. I get it. We all have those accounts we feel obligated to follow. The friend of a friend, the celebrity who posts once every 6 months, or that influencer who shows up in your feed because of the algorithm, not because you even care. But here's the thing, scrolling mindlessly through your feed doesn't keep you connected to what truly matters. It just fills your space with noise. And guess what? You deserve better than that. We've all been there. You open Instagram for a quick scroll, and 2 hours later, you're still glued to your phone, comparing your life to someone else's highlight reel. It's exhausting. That's when I decided to take control. I unfollowed everyone. I mean everyone, even the people I was close to. And let me tell you, at first, it felt like an act of rebellion. My feed was empty, like a blank canvas staring back at me. But here's the kicker. That's exactly what I needed. Suddenly, I had the space to actually think, to process my own thoughts, to focus on what I wanted instead of what the world was throwing at me. It was like hitting the reset button on my mental health. The best part? It wasn't about cutting people off. It was about making my space mine again. I reintroduced accounts that genuinely added value to my life. Accounts that inspired me, made me laugh, or taught me something. And guess what happened? My mental clutter cleared up. The comparisons faded. I stopped feeling like I had to live up to someone else's standards. I started living for myself, not for my feed. This is more than just a social media cleanse. It's a reclaiming of your peace, your focus, and your time. It's about giving yourself the freedom to curate your digital space intentionally instead of being passively consumed by it. And here's the most empowering part. You don't need to apologize for it. It's your space, your rules. So, take a moment to think about it. Who or what in your feed isn't serving you? It's time to unfollow those accounts and make room for the things that truly matter. This isn't about disconnecting from people. It's about reconnecting with yourself. Your space, your peace, and your dignity are worth more than any algorithm. And when you choose to unfollow the noise, you choose to reclaim your life. Go ahead, unfollow everyone. The world will still be there, but your mind will thank you. Number 3, the 48-hour digital sabbatical. Imagine this. You've just come off a weekend, but you're already feeling mentally drained, like your brain's been working overtime even though you've hardly done anything. What if I told you the key to resetting that mental exhaustion wasn't another binge watch or a nap, but actually taking a 48-hour break from all digital devices? Yes, that's right. A full, unapologetic 48-hour digital sabbatical. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, "No way, I'll miss too much," hear me out. It's not only possible, it's transformative. Now, I get it. You're probably thinking, but how am I supposed to survive without checking my phone for 2 whole days? What about messages, emails, or the latest trending news? It's understandable to feel a little skeptical at first, but that's exactly the point. We've all been there, feeling like we have to stay plugged in 24/7, responding to notifications and consuming endless information. But here's the twist. Taking a digital detox isn't about disconnecting from the world, it's about reconnecting with yourself. Yes, trust me on this. A 48-hour break from all screens can recharge you in ways you wouldn't believe. You know the type. You're just scrolling through your feed, and suddenly hours have slipped away. You're stuck in this cycle of consumption, and before you know it, you're mentally and physically drained. We've all been there. It's like you're present in your life, but also kind of absent, navigating through conversations with one eye on your phone, watching the world pass by. So one weekend, I decided to try something different. I committed to a 48-hour digital sabbatical. No emails, no social media, no checking notifications. I planned to replace my usual screen time with things I had been neglecting: reading a book, taking a walk outside, spending real time with people, and most importantly, sitting in silence and just thinking. And guess what? By the end of those 48 hours, I felt like a completely new person, refreshed, focused, and more present in my own life. It was like someone had cleaned the mental clutter from my brain. Taking a break from the digital world might sound daunting, but the truth is, it's one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself. This isn't just about escaping the digital noise. It's about giving yourself space to breathe, reflect, and re-engage with the things that matter most to you. When you step away from your phone, you suddenly have room to think more clearly, be more productive, and even reconnect with people in a deeper way. Plus, it's a reminder that we are more than our online personas and digital distractions. You deserve that kind of peace. You deserve to reclaim your space, your time, and your attention. No more over-explaining or justifying your screen time. You are allowed to step away and focus on what truly nourishes your mind and soul. The beauty of a 48-hour digital sabbatical is that it gives you permission to do nothing, and sometimes doing nothing is exactly what you need to get back to being your best self. So, here's the takeaway. Your peace, your focus, and your time are worth more than any notification. Take the leap. Give yourself those 48 hours. Reconnect with the present and watch how you transform. You'll come out of it stronger, clearer, and more connected to the real world around you. Your space, your peace, and your dignity are waiting. Number 4, the comparison detox filter. Let me ask you something. How many times have you found yourself scrolling through social media and thinking, why doesn't my life look like that? It's a moment we've all had, comparing ourselves to others, feeling like we're falling short. But what if I told you that the key to breaking that cycle isn't trying harder, but filtering out those comparisons altogether? Yes, I'm talking about a complete comparison detox filter, one that helps you step out of the trap of constant comparison and back into your own power. Sounds impossible? Trust me, it's not. Now you might be thinking, I can't help but compare. It's just part of human nature. And I get it. In a world where we're constantly surrounded by curated lives and achievements, it's easy to feel like you're not measuring up. You've probably been there, seeing someone's vacation photos, their perfect family moments, or their career milestones, and feeling like you're somehow behind or missing out. It's frustrating, right? But here's the thing, no one ever shows the full picture. We're all guilty of highlighting the best parts of our lives, and that's where the comparison detox filter comes in. What if the trick wasn't to stop looking at others, but to stop valuing those comparisons as a measure of your own worth? Imagine being able to scroll through your feed, seeing beautiful moments and achievements, but feeling completely at peace in your own journey. That's the magic of the comparison detox filter. It's about mentally and emotionally detoxing from the need to measure your life against someone else's. You start to see those perfect posts, not as benchmarks for where you should be, but as unique stories from unique people. Your life doesn't have to follow the same script, and it shouldn't. I remember a time when I was deep in this comparison trap. Every time I checked social media, I felt like everyone was doing better than me. I was watching my friends hit milestones, new houses, dream jobs, exciting trips, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't living up to my potential. It was draining. But then, one weekend, I decided to hit the reset button. I went through my feeds and unfollowed anyone who made me feel less than or triggered those feelings of comparison. It wasn't about cutting people off. It was about creating space for my own voice, my own journey. After just a couple of days of this comparison detox, I felt lighter. I started appreciating my life in a whole new way. And guess what? My creativity skyrocketed. I was able to focus on my own goals without getting distracted by the highlight reels of others. This is about more than just avoiding social media. It's about changing the way you see yourself. When you filter out the comparisons, you give yourself permission to embrace your own path, your own successes, your own struggles. You stop looking at someone else's achievements as a reason to feel small and start seeing them as opportunities for growth and inspiration. And trust me, there's so much power in that. It's about reclaiming your space, your peace, and your dignity, knowing that your journey is yours alone and that it doesn't need to look like anyone else's. So here's the empowering takeaway. The comparison detox filter is about choosing what you allow into your mind and your heart. You have the power to filter out the noise and make room for your own voice to shine. The next time you catch yourself comparing, remember that your space, your peace, and your dignity are more important than any comparison. Own your journey. It's yours, and it's enough. Number 5. The social media fast food rule. Let me ask you this. Have you ever found yourself mindlessly scrolling through your social media feed, eating up content like it's fast food, quick, satisfying, but leaving you feeling empty afterward? We've all been there. You're hungry for entertainment, for connection, for something to pass the time. But after hours of scrolling, you're left with that nagging feeling that you've consumed something that wasn't really good for you. That's where the social media fast food rule comes in, and yes, trust me, it's a game changer. Now you might be thinking, how is this different from any other social media detox advice? Great question. Most tips are about cutting down your screen time or unfollowing accounts, but here's the twist. The fast food rule is about what you consume, not just how much. Just like fast food, social media is designed to give us that instant gratification without much nutritional value. It's designed to hook us with flashy images, quick entertainment, and endless scrolls. But just like junk food, it leaves us feeling drained, dissatisfied, and a little bit worse about ourselves. So, what if you treated your social media diet like you would your food choices? What if you applied the same real food mentality to your feeds? Here's the secret. The social media fast food rule is about choosing your content with the same care you'd choose your meals. Instead of indulging in the mindless scrolling, you start being intentional about what you consume. Ask yourself, does this content nourish me? Does it add value to my day? Or does it just fill the void temporarily? This isn't about cutting out all the fun stuff. Hey, we all need a break sometimes. It's about balancing what goes in. Choose content that challenges you, uplifts you, and makes you feel connected to your true self, not just the noise. Let me paint a picture for you. A few months ago, I found myself in that same fast food scrolling spiral. I'd pick up my phone, start browsing, and before I knew it, hours had passed, and I felt like a zombie. So, I decided to make a change. Every time I opened Instagram, I started asking myself, is this real food or just empty calories? I began unfollowing accounts that gave me nothing but mindless distraction and replaced them with content that inspired me. I followed creators who were talking about ideas that challenged me, people who were doing things that made me think deeper, and accounts that shared positivity. The result? My mental health improved, my creativity skyrocketed, and I stopped feeling like social media was draining me. Here's the most important part. The social media fast food rule isn't just about what you cut out. It's about what you add in. It's about reclaiming your space, your peace, and your dignity by being mindful of what you allow into your life through your phone. This isn't about deprivation. It's about giving yourself more of what really matters. When you fill your feed with content that lifts you up instead of dragging you down, you start to feel more in control. You start to make decisions that align with your true goals, not the quick fixes that only leave you hungrier for more. So, here's your takeaway. Just like you wouldn't eat fast food all day, every day, don't let your social media consumption be the same. Be intentional, be mindful, and be selective. Remember, your time, energy, and peace are more valuable than any fleeting content. Nourish yourself with the good stuff and let the empty calories go. After all, your space, your peace, and your dignity are worth far more than any fast food scroll. Number 6. The time block detox. Have you ever felt like your to-do list is just a never-ending spiral? Like you're constantly jumping from task to task, barely staying afloat, and by the end of the day, nothing feels truly accomplished. Yeah, we've all been there. You know the type. Busy but not productive. Overwhelmed but not moving forward. It's a trap. But what if I told you there's a simple strategy to break free from this? What if you could detox from the chaos of multitasking and get more done in less time with one simple change? Trust me on this. It's called the time block detox. Now, you might be thinking, I've heard of time blocking. That sounds boring, and honestly, I'm not sure it'll work for me. I get it. You're skeptical. But stick with me, because this isn't your average productivity hack. This is about creating intentional spaces in your day, so you stop reacting to life and start leading it. Time blocking isn't just about squeezing tasks into neat little boxes. It's about carving out chunks of time that you actually protect, like detoxing from the chaos and allowing yourself to focus on what really matters. Yes, I know, it sounds simple, but I promise the impact is huge. Let me break it down for you. How many times have you found yourself checking your phone every few minutes or jumping between tasks without ever fully finishing one? It's exhausting, right? It's like eating junk food all day and wondering why you're tired and sluggish. That's what constant switching between tasks does to your mind. But when you time block, you're setting a clear intention. You're saying, this is my time to focus on X, and I'm not letting anything else in. This simple rule allows you to give your full attention to one thing at a time, and trust me, that makes all the difference. I remember when I first tried this out, I used to juggle multiple projects at once, editing videos, responding to emails, scrolling through social media, all in the same hour. It was a disaster. I'd look up and wonder how I'd spent the entire day without truly accomplishing anything. So, I decided to try time blocking. I set specific blocks for different activities, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for video editing, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. for emails, and so on. At first, it felt unnatural, like I was being too rigid. But you know what happened? I started finishing tasks faster and better because my brain wasn't distracted by 1,000 things at once. And by the end of the day, I felt lighter and accomplished. Here's the thing about the time block detox. It's about more than just productivity. It's about reclaiming your space, your peace, and your mental clarity. When you consciously set aside time for what matters, you stop feeling like you're always running behind. You take control of your schedule instead of letting everything else control you. The best part? You'll feel less stressed, more focused, and even have time to do things you enjoy, like reading a book, going for a walk, or just being, without the guilt. So, here's your challenge. Start small. Block out just 1 hour a day to focus on one thing. No distractions, no multitasking, just you and your task. And watch how it shifts your productivity and mindset. Because when you make time for what truly matters, you're not just getting things done, you're creating a life that reflects your priorities. Your space, your peace, and your dignity all come from this simple shift. Time block your day and take back control. Number 7, reconnect with nature challenge. Have you ever felt like you're just disconnected? Like the world is moving at 100 miles an hour and you're stuck in a never-ending cycle of screens, deadlines, and distractions? Believe me, I've been there. You know the type, chasing after tasks, notifications pinging every few minutes, barely stopping to take a breath. It's easy to get lost in the noise, right? But here's the thing. The antidote might be simpler than you think. The real solution? Reconnecting with nature. Now, I know what you're thinking. Sure, that sounds great, but who has time for a hike these days? Stick with me. This is the Reconnect with Nature Challenge, and trust me, it's about to change the way you see the world. We've all had those days where it feels like we've been sitting indoors, plugged into work or social media for hours, maybe even days, without taking a real break. And by the time you step outside, everything feels off. The air feels stale, your mind's still racing, and honestly, you wonder how long it'll take to unwind. But here's the crazy thing. Nature has a way of recalibrating us in ways that screens and endless tasks can't. It's like hitting the reset button for your mind. You see, there's a reason people say, take a walk in the park, or breathe in the fresh air. Nature literally restores our focus, clears our head, and centers us. And no, you don't need to be a hiking enthusiast to feel it. I'm not asking you to drop everything and go live in the woods, though that would be nice, right? It's actually much simpler than that. Let me share how I did it. A few months ago, I realized I hadn't truly felt outside in ages. I'd go for a walk, but my mind was still running through my to-do list. So, I decided to do something different. I gave myself a challenge. Every day for just 10 minutes I would step outside with no phone, no distractions, just me and nature. Sometimes it was sitting under a tree, sometimes it was walking along a quiet street, or just standing in my backyard. At first, it felt weird. I have so many things to do, I'd think, but something changed. Those 10 minutes turned into a reset for my entire day. I could breathe deeper, think clearer, and honestly, I felt like I could tackle whatever came next. And here's the kicker. This isn't just about taking a walk. This is about reclaiming your space, your peace, and your mental clarity. Nature gives you the chance to press pause on all the noise, even if just for a few moments. No matter how busy you are, nature is always there, offering you a break, a moment of calm, a space where your thoughts can slow down. The best part? You don't need to overthink it or plan a grand nature retreat. Just take a few minutes to reconnect with the world outside your window. The more you do it, the more you'll realize that this simple practice isn't a luxury. It's an absolute necessity. So, here's the challenge I'm throwing at you. Every day for the next week, find 10 minutes to step outside without distractions. It can be as simple as standing on your balcony, walking barefoot on the grass, or sitting by a tree. Just make that time for yourself. Watch how your stress melts away, how your thoughts start to clear, and how you reconnect with your own peace. This is about reclaiming what's yours, your space, your peace, and your dignity. Don't let the noise of life take those away. Reconnect with nature and let it reset you. Because the world is out there, waiting for you to breathe it all in. Number 8, the non-digital communication experiment. Have you ever stopped to think about how much we rely on our screens to communicate? I mean, think about it. Texts, DMs, emails. It's almost like we can't have a real conversation without one. And don't get me wrong, technology is amazing. But here's the thing, it's also kinda draining. You know that feeling when you've spent all day typing, scrolling and typing some more, and at the end of it, you're just mentally fried? I know I've been there. Now, what if I told you there's a way to break free from that constant digital connection, and it's simpler than you think? What if the answer was stepping back into the basics of communication? We've all experienced it, sitting with friends or family, yet everyone's heads are buried in their phones. We're together, but somehow not together, right? We send messages that are often misunderstood, and sometimes it feels like we've lost that real human connection. It's easy to get caught up in it all: work, social media, notifications, and before you know it, we've neglected the simplest, most meaningful form of communication: face-to-face conversation. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, "Oh, here we go with another disconnect to reconnect spiel," trust me on this. The non-digital communication experiment isn't about banning technology or going back to the Stone Age. It's about something that we've all forgotten but need now more than ever: quality, undistracted conversation. So here's the twist. For the next week, I'm challenging you to do something that might sound a little strange at first. Commit to at least one conversation a day where you put your phone away, look the person in the eye, and just listen. No scrolling, no texting, just you and the other person, fully present. Sounds simple enough, right? But the impact of this small shift is huge. Studies show that face-to-face communication not only helps us understand each other better, but also strengthens bonds and improves mental well-being. It's like turning off the noise and tuning into real-time, genuine connection. Yes, I know, sometimes it feels uncomfortable at first, but trust me, it's worth it. Let me give you a quick personal example. A while ago, I decided to try this experiment with a friend I hadn't seen in ages. We grabbed coffee, and for the first time in forever, I left my phone in my bag. We talked about everything and nothing, what we'd been up to, what was stressing us out, and even some random memories from when we were kids. The conversation wasn't just fulfilling, it was energizing. It felt like we had truly reconnected, and I realized that when we fully engage, we understand each other on a deeper level. My phone stayed in my bag the entire time, and you know what? The world didn't end. In fact, it felt more alive than it had in a while. Here's the real magic of this challenge. It's not just about putting down your phone for the sake of it. It's about reclaiming your space. Space to have meaningful moments with others. Space to hear, be heard, and simply be. We've all fallen into the trap of over-explaining or backing down when we're distracted, but real communication is clear, focused, and powerful. By embracing non-digital communication, you're not just growing your relationships, you're protecting your own peace of mind too. When we silence the digital noise, we get back to what truly matters: connection, presence, and authenticity. So here's your takeaway. Start small. Commit to one conversation a day where you step away from the screens and truly connect. Trust me, this little experiment could change the way you relate to the world and to the people in it. It's about your peace, your connection, and your humanity. Now go ahead, embrace the silence, and feel the power of true, undistracted conversation. You've got this. Number 9, the mute button revolution. Ever feel like the world is just too loud? Like your phone is buzzing non-stop, emails keep pouring in, and the notifications won't stop until you finally collapse from sensory overload? I get it, you're not alone. In fact, we're all living in a constant stream of noise, and it's hard to even hear yourself think sometimes. Now, what if I told you the secret to regaining your focus, your peace, and your sanity is actually something as simple as the mute button? I know it sounds too easy to be true, but hear me out. This tiny little button could change everything. We've all been there: the constant pinging, the endless stream of messages, or the emails demanding your attention right now. And let's not forget the group chats. Oh boy, you know the type. Messages flooding in from every direction, and suddenly you're in the middle of 5 different conversations that all require some sort of response. It's exhausting. You end up half responding to one thing while worrying about what's going on in the next. But here's the twist. What if you just muted them all for a bit? I'm talking about an actual mute revolution, where instead of feeling like you're drowning in a sea of alerts, you reclaim your time. You can mute the emails that aren't urgent, silence notifications that aren't important, and even press pause on the group chats that are driving you crazy. This is about realizing that you have the power to choose what deserves your attention and what doesn't. Yes, I know. There's a part of you that's going to feel guilty at first, thinking, but what if someone needs me? But guess what? That someone can wait. You'll be far more productive, grounded, and mentally at peace when you create space for yourself. Let me tell you about a time when I took this little step. A few weeks ago, I found myself in the middle of a stressful week at work. Emails were stacking up, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing, and my to-do list seemed endless. I couldn't even finish a task without getting distracted by the next ping. So, I decided to hit mute. For the next hour, I muted all the work-related notifications. No more alerts, no more distractions. And guess what? I actually got work done. Real work. My mind was clearer, and I felt a sense of control over my time for the first time all week. It was so simple, yet so powerful. Here's the thing, this mute revolution isn't just about silencing your phone. It's about reclaiming your time and mental space. It's a quiet act of self-respect. Think of it like creating a barrier between you and the noise that's constantly pulling you in 1,000 directions. This doesn't just help you get work done, it helps you protect your emotional energy, so you're not constantly in a state of reaction. Instead, you become proactive in what you focus on, where you invest your time, and who gets to take up space in your mental bandwidth. It's about saying no to unnecessary distractions and yes to peace. So here's what I want you to take away. The mute button isn't a tool of avoidance. It's a tool of empowerment. It's about taking back control of your day, your energy, and your mental peace. You don't need to answer every email immediately, reply to every message right away, or be on top of every notification. You've got the power to hit mute, step back, and let the noise fade away. And trust me, when you do, you'll find that your clarity, focus, and sense of self come rushing back. Your time, your energy, your peace. Don't let anyone steal it from you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video gave you some fresh insights and practical tools to help you take control of your social media habits. If you found this helpful, don't forget to hit that like button. It really supports the channel. And if you're interested in more content like this, make sure to subscribe so you never miss an update. If you know someone who could use a little social media detox in their life, share this video with them. It might just be the wake-up call they need. I'd love to hear your thoughts and personal experiences on this topic. Have you tried a social media detox before, or are you planning to? Leave a comment below. I'm always excited to hear from you and create a space where we can learn from each other. Remember, this journey is all about reclaiming your time, your focus, and your peace of mind. So take a deep breath, be kind to yourself, and keep making those conscious choices. Until next time, keep moving forward and keep taking back control of your life.